Speaker, for me to lay the petition, if you so wish.
Thank you. Could you please move and lay the report? I'm afraid we may not take more petitions. Honorable EJ, because of time, quickly.
My right honorable Speaker and dear colleagues, of course, my name is Honorable EJ Agboanyima, representing the good people of Igor, Bubaha Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition before this honorable House, petition from Mr. Michael Ehige, addressing this House on that is against the NDLEA officials, Akure Division, over the extrajudicial killing of his son, Michael Ehige, on the 14th of November 2016. The unlawful killing occurred when the late Michael Ehige was asked to stop and park his vehicle by NDLEA officials. As the deceased was pulling off the road, he was previously shot by the officials of the NDLEA, which led to his death. He seeks the intervention of this House for relief sought over the unlawful and unprovoked killing of his son by officials of the NDLEA Akure Division. May I please crave your indulgence to lay this petition before this honorable House, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed and lay the petition. Honorable Chinda, as quick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, Kingsley Chinda, I represent Obiakwa Federal Constituency. I'm an Ikore man from Rivers State. My dear colleagues, the petition is from one Samuel Amadi, a police officer who was wrongfully terminated and later charged to court. Mr. Speaker, the core of this petition is that after trial for alleged murder, he was discharged and acquitted, and he has made efforts to get reinstated to the Nigerian Police Force and paid his allowances. All efforts have not yielded any efforts. He has therefore come to us seeking for intervention for him to be paid all his outstanding allowances. Mr. Speaker, I seek your leave to lay this petition.
Okay, please proceed and lay the petition. Honorable Brown.
Yeah, right, Honorable Speaker, colleagues. My name is Honorable Randolph Ewarene Brown, representing Degma Bonifera Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from Niger Delta Youth for Credible Development, and they are petitioning against the cancellation of 600 awarded contracts by the Niger Delta Development Commission after which was budgeted for, bidded by the contractors in line with the Public Procurement Act of 2007. Mr. Speaker, I seek the leave of the House to lay the petition.
Please proceed and lay the petition. I think we'll end it there. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of two bills. But in view of the fact that we're closing, Honorable Linus, quickly, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Linus Okorie, House on Interview Federal Constituency of Bonny State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I have a petition from Mr. Gibson Ogu. It's titled Petition Against Unilever PLC for Wrongful Termination of Employment, Refusal to Pay Outstanding Salaries, Operational Expenses and Disengagement Entitlement to the tune of 22 million naira. May I seek the leave of the House to lay the petition on the table, Mr. Speaker?
Proceed and lay the petition here, Honorable. That will be the last petitioner today.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Chidi Frank Kwinyoka. I represent Ikweremova Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from one Chief Webomun Nadozie. The petition is on grandson murder of late Mr. Tangod Nadozie by the men of Nigerian Police Force, stationed at the local government area. Mr. Speaker, may you permit me to lay this petition?
Please proceed and lay the petition. All petitions referred to the Committee on Public Petitions. First business of the day, honorable colleagues, presentation of two bills. And now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2017, first reading. Customs and Excise Statutory Appropriation Bill, first reading.
Honorable colleagues, I think we'll skip some of the orders on the order paper to the most important order of today, since we have about 30 minutes more of live sitting. And that is the first, no, it's not the first order of the day. Okay, it's the third order of the day. So move to the third order of the day. Before we do that, I think it's better for us to test the platform once and for all. Or once again, sorry. So where are the computer gurus? Please, honorable members, let's take our seats. Point of order on testing the e-platform. Prof, are you sure you slept well today? Are we set to start testing the equipment?
Well, at the moment, the members are now trying to try to confirm the test run of the electronic system that they carried out yesterday. If you take a look at the chamber, you find out that the turnout of members is quite impressive. This underscores the importance of this legislative work they're about to do today. Amendment of a nation's constitution is not a child's play. And basically, the presence of members here, it's very significant. In developed climes, the absence of a member at such a very significant national task is always well, a point of question from those who elected him. Now members are now raising the electronic card up. Well, that is the process. Once they raise it up, they confirm the side of where they will slot the card, where the microchip fails, and then they will insert the card. So all in all, they are now trying to carry a little drill on what they learnt yesterday to show that the process is still guaranteed. Because all what they will do here today is significantly dependent on this voting. And as a matter of fact, it's very important that the process has integrity, and this integrity must come from transparency. And this transparency must come from a technically sound system. Announced earlier on that from the other paper there are some other items that would have come before this particular item, but because of time the speaker decided to skip them, like the presentation of about 18 reports. So that whole report, they've really skipped them to now go straight to the Constitutional Amendment. And because of the complexities of this process, the speaker and the members are trying to make sure that they keep no stone unturned in achieving the desired objective in this constitutional alteration. Like I said, the members are here, the numbers are quite impressive, and it's very significant to know that the number of legislators in the parliament during constitutional amendment is very, very significant to the legitimacy of the process. 2/3 of the members must be present. And in this case, out of the 360 members of Nigeria's House of Representatives, 240 of them must be seated. And then the majority vote among these 2/3 carries the day. They are still on the process of test running the electronic system. Once the members insert this electronic card inside the device, the speaker announced time for punching the buttons that will give affirmation or negate the votes. And the result of all the members who have voted is displayed on the notice board just ahead of the presiding officer's seat. And then there's another board, another notice board, electronic board at this time around, facing the speaker, just ahead of the gallery where National Assembly correspondents are seated.
$268. So when we're set, I'll announce. Just get set. Okay, please press the green button. Ten seconds. Left, 7 seconds, 6 seconds. A partition. Kai. Okay, so let's take a hypothetical vote and see. But the result is not showing. Okay, it's the result of the voting that will show. Okay, let's vote and see. what happens? The attendance? We'll take the attendance once more. So let's get set. If it's time, I'll let you know. Okay. Green button. Green button, that's the attendance. One second left. Time out. Okay, it's giving us 280, but when we take the vote, it will now show us the total. It will display the total there. So let's take a vote on any hypothetical. You will see it clearly when we take the vote. For the voting, we have three options. You have no, which is red button, abstain, which is white, yes is green. So are we ready to go? No, I'm asking the... Okay, vote now. Any of the three buttons. Vote now. Hypothetically, vote now. 10 seconds, 7 seconds left. Vote now. Time up. So we'll see the records now. I can't see it clearly. So 278. Yeah. So I think if it works like this, we are good to go. Okay. So we take the third order of the day, which is consideration of report of the Special Ad Hoc Committee on the review of the 1999 Constitution bills for acts to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. Honorable members who recall the report was laid on Thursday, 20th July 2017. Honorable Suleiman Lasson Yusuf will move for its consideration of the report. Your point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Professor Majid Alabi. I represent the north, the south, Egbedore, and the Jigbo Federal Constituency. I'm from the state of Osun. Mr. Speaker, I'm coming under Order 9, Rule 2.1 of the standing orders of this House. With your kind permission, any member deviating from the provision of this rule or the Constitution may be immediately called to order by the Speaker or the Chairman or by a member raising a point of order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me. And I refer, Mr. Speaker, to the preamble of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section...
I don't understand the point of order you are raising. You can't use preamble of the Constitution to raise a point of order, except you refer to a specific order on our rules or specific section of the Constitution. That's the general provision. Fine. So let's move to Section 9 of the Constitution and see what the order is. Okay. Take us to your order in section 9 of the Constitution. We're all there.
Mr. Speaker, I'm raising my point under 3 grounds. The first of which...
Read the section first, please, before you tell us your ground.
He doesn't have a consequence. Yes, yes, now. It's not right. Go and sit down.
Mr. Speaker, the National Assembly may, subject to the provision of this section, alter any provisions of this Constitution. Mr. Speaker, by our rules, Order 13, Rule 1 and 2. House standing.
I don't understand what you're doing, Prof, please. Can you approach the chair? Let me hear you well. Because I don't understand what you're saying.
Please,
come approach
silence,
the chair.
please. Order, honorable members, please. Order, please. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, please.
The item on the order paper is not right for consideration because it violates the provision of the Constitution and the provision of our standing order.
What is the provision of the Constitution?
Professor,
we are in section 9. Tell us,
please,
under section 9. What is it in section 9 that we're violating?
Which empowers us to amend the provision of the Constitution. Yeah, that's what we are doing. And I'm now referring to the section of our rules that deals with the procedure for amendment of the Constitution. And I'm saying, if you proceed the way we want to proceed today, it will be a violation of Order 13, Rule 1, Sub-Rule 2. And that is what I'm...
Let's go to Order 13, please. Let's go to Order 13.
It's not allowed me to be. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With your kind permission, I refer to Order 13 of our standing orders, Rule 1, Sub-Rule 2. During the debate on alteration of the Constitution, all honorable members may be allowed to contribute to the debate. As a member of this House...
Okay. Read 3. Sub-Rule 3. Just use your mic.
Thank you, sir. Upon the second reading, the bill shall be committed to the Special Ad Hoc Committee of the House on Constitution Alteration.
So where are we now? We are in Sub-Rule 4. We are in 4. Honorable Mojit, please listen to me. Honorable colleagues, in case you are in doubt, please listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me, please. We are in Sub-Rule 4 of that rule, Rule 13. Can you please take your seat? And we are in a clause-by-clause consideration in the Committee of the Whole. I didn't call this matter for debate. I said it's consideration of reports, if you check your other paper. So we have passed the stage you are trying to take us back to. It has gone to the committee, Special Ad Hoc Committee on Constitutional Review. Public hearings have been held. Debates have been done. Sittings have been done in Lagos severally, to the best of my knowledge. All civil society organizations have been invited to make inputs to this amendment, and then the report has been laid before us. At no point did you raise this point of order, because the report was laid here before it was listed, even circulated. We announced this last week. We are voting today. Yesterday again at the special session we had, we pleaded that this House cannot serve as a drag on this process. Nigerians are waiting for this because we promised that we'll deliver this before, or hopefully before the year ends. So any stratagem aimed at delaying this can only cast us as a House of the People in bad light. So, Prof, you are completely out of order. Completely. I rule you out of order. Consideration of the report.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Order, please. Silence. Silence, honorable members, please. Silence, please. Order.
Right, Honorable Speaker. My name is...
Honorable Mojid, I've ruled you out of order. Please. I've ruled you out of order.
Right, Honorable Speaker. My name is Lasu Yusuf. I represent Irepodun, Olorunda, Orolu Osogbo Federal Constituency, and I'm very proud to be an Osun man who is about to correct the wrong of a one professor that is trying to hold and drag the House back. Yes. 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 Yes.
Professor Mojid. Honorable colleagues, can we take our seats? Take your seats, honorable members, please. Please take your seats. Take your seats. Take your seats. Badam. Just sit down, sit down. Honorable colleagues, can we please take our seats? Honorable Boma.
At the moment, Speaker Yakubu Dogara recognized Deputy Speaker Suleiman Yusuf Blason, who is actually the chairman of the House Ad hoc Committee that is considering the amendment of the 1999 Constitution. But as soon as he was recognized, Professor Mujid Alabi, who is also a member, now raised a point of order, which he came under Order 13, Rule 1, 2, well, saying he has the right to contribute on the bill. But the presiding officer, who is the speaker himself, now called him to an order as well, and now said that the House has gone beyond that particular section of the rules of the House, that the House has gone beyond argument and contribution on the bill, that what the House actually is set to do here today is to consider the clause by clause of these constitutional amendment bills in the committee of the whole, and that is not it's not a time for debate and argument. And so, but the honourable member seems to not be in agreement with what the presiding officer just said. But, well, eventually, the deputy speaker was, for the second time, recognized by the speaker to, well, lead the consideration. But then the representative Mojid Alabi, like I said earlier, it's not really comfortable with the decision of the House, per se, and then was kind of making some kind of body languages that show that he's dissatisfied. But actually, some members, we saw some members going up to meet him and then try to calm him down, perhaps. And then we now saw him, making signs, making hand signs, which show that he is now in acceptance and he has calmed down. Well, we expect that any moment from now, the deputy speaker will now commence with the process of presenting and then consideration of the bill, and we expect that from the compendium of what we have here, the first bill that we expect that will be coming up for consideration is that one, which is the number one bill out of the 33 bills that will be considered, is that which seeks to amend the composition of members of the Council of States. We know that bill seeks to include former presiding officers of the National Assembly among the Council of States. And that is the first bill on the compendium of the bills to be amended today. And that comes in the third schedule, part 1 of the Federal Executive Body.
I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. And the Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business, to move the for us to suspend Order 7, Rule 2, Sub-Rule 2, to enable the Honorable Speaker preside at the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeb. I represent the good people of Buruku, my dear colleagues. I'm from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that this House do suspend Order 7, Rule 2, to enable the Deputy Speaker preside over this.
No, the Speaker.
I beg your pardon, please. To enable the Speaker preside.
Hey.
I beg your pardon. I saw, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleague, I so moved.
Honorable former comrade, Aminu.
Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I am from Kano State, and my name is Comrade Aminu Suleiman. I represent Page Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand to second the motion as ably moved by the Chair House Committee on Rules and Business. I second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Before we resume the voting, let me announce this, that we're taking a vote on all the clauses, irrespective of the fact that some of them did not survive the vote at the Senate. Now, the reason is not that we will be able to revive them, but that it's good for the general public to know the position of the House on those matters completely. So we'll take a vote on all the clauses. But otherwise, in a bicameral legislature, any measure that dies in one house is automatically dead in the other house. But at least it's good for Nigerians, since this is a long, drawn-out process. It's good for our citizens to know the stand of the House on each of those issues. So we'll vote on everything. So the House hereby dissolves into a Committee of the Whole to consider the report.
I know it's supposed to be done, but in this matter, I have an interest. I have an interest.
He doesn't have his team to have an interest. It's presumed that they are
Right now, the Speaker has now stepped down from the presiding officer's seat, now down to the lower seat, which signifies that the House has dissolved into Committee of the Whole. Well, normally, according to the rule of the House, the Deputy Speaker presides over Committee of the Whole, but in order not to flaunt the rule of the House, the Chairman House Committee on Rules and Business had to move that the House do suspend the House Order 7 Rule 2 to enable the Speaker preside over the Committee of the Whole. And it's very significant that the Speaker presides over the Committee of the Whole, because the Deputy Speaker, who is meant to preside over the Committee of the Whole, is the Chairman of the Ad hoc Committee on Constitution Review, and therefore he cannot preside over the Committee of the Whole while presents the Constitutional Review as well. Now, members are all seated, and don't forget that the Committee of the Whole is a committee, is one of the committees in Parliament, made up of all members of the Parliament. And then normally its duty is to consider bills that have been processed, that has gone through second reading, public hearing, and consultation. And then the committee of the whole.
This is the network service of the NTA. We'll be joining our outside broadcast crew for another live broadcast.
The anchor of this media brief. You are welcome to the headquarters A Component Operation Lafia Dole Yola. Venue for this.
Hello viewers, a warm welcome to the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, broadcasting live from the operational headquarters of the Air Component Operation Lafia Dole, situated at the Yola base of the Nigerian Air Force. Air officers and men have been part of the success stories of counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast, codenamed Operation Lafia Dole. This press briefing is purposely convened to bring to public notice stories of successes and challenges that characterize the activities of the Air Component Operation Lafia Dole. I am your guide, Majama Adamu, welcoming you once more to the headquarters of Air Component Operation Lafia Dole in Yola, Adamawa State.
Let me most respectfully invite the Air Component Commander Operation Lafia Dole, Air Commodore Tajuddin Oladele Yusuf, for his brief. The Commander, sir.
Commanders here present, Ed Ducat, senior officers, distinguished gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm pleased to welcome you to the headquarters Air Component of Operation Lafia Dole. I'm Air Commodore T.O. Yusuf, the Air Component Commander. In line with the practice of keeping the public abreast with the Nigerian Air Force activities in the Northeast, through the Air Component Command of Operation Lafia Dole, I will be addressing you today to update you on the operations conducted since our last press brief on the 11th of April, 2017. The Air Component Operation Lafia Dole has been steadfast in playing its role in support of the concerted effort by the armed forces of Nigeria to end the activities of Boko Haram terrorists, BHT for short, in the Northeast. The main thrust of this effort has been to sustain the conduct of a range of day and night air operations, both independently and in support of activities of the Theater Command, Multinational Joint Task Force, and other partners. By adapting swiftly to changes in the operational situation in the theater and by drawing from lessons learned in previous quarters, the Air Component continues to predict its air operation in the theater on the strategic direction of search, locate, and destroy. This involves conducting intensive mission with intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, ISR for short, platforms to maintain an eye in the sky over the entire theater and using the attack platform to interdict legitimate BHT targets. The range of air operation conducted by the Air Component in the second quarter of 2017 has been largely responsible for significantly degrading Boko Haram terrorist combat capability and inflicting considerable damage on their assets. This, in turn, has limited Boko Haram terrorists' freedom of action to the extent that they are no longer able to wage large-scale attack against own surface forces and the civilian population. Nevertheless, sightings from our ASR platform indicate that there are still some pockets of Boko Haram terrorists that constitute a nuisance in some identified location in the theater of operation. This situation is being addressed through persistent day and night air operation being conducted by the air component. To this extent, I will be presenting an appraisal of Nigerian Air Force operation in the theater from April 2017 till date, in order to acquaint you with the present situation, the air component's current effort, and our future plans. The aim of this brief, therefore, is to appraise the Nigerian Air Force operation in the Northeast for second quarter of 2017 with a view to outlining projection for the next quarters. In order to achieve this aim, I shall give an overview of operational activities in the second quarter of the year 2017 and a few notable ongoing activities highlighting the nature of support rendered to surface forces. I will then give highlights of the operational accomplishment as well as achievements recorded during the period under review. Thereafter, some challenges encountered in the course of executing our mandate will be stated, followed by some lessons learned from specific incidents before highlighting our projections for the third quarter. Let us start by looking at overview of in-theater activity for second quarter of 2017. The air component commenced operation in the second quarter of 2017 with a renewed focus on using our air asset to degrade and deny Boko Haram terrorists freedom of action in the entire theater. The aim was to consolidate on the achievements recorded in the preceding quarters by concentrating efforts in areas where Boko Haram terrorist activities are still observed. In our last brief, we indicated that human intelligence confirmed by ISR footages indicated that upon dislodgement from Camp Zero in December 2016, some of the Boko Haram terrorists had dispersed from Sambisa forest to the west of Sambisa, stretching up to southwest Maiduguri and into Yobe State, while some others had moved in the eastern ward to southeast of Sambisa towards Goza Hills and Togoshe Hills. Thus, in the first quarter, the air component justifiably directed significant air efforts to location southwest of Maiduguri, where ISR reports and human intelligence indicated the presence of some Boko Haram terrorists from Sambisa. ISR reports through the second quarter of the year, however, indicated the gradual return of Boko Haram terrorist activity into the Sambisa forest. Progressively, there have been sighting of a few Boko Haram activities in the Sambisa general area, particularly Parisu. In light of this, for a large part of the second quarter, the air component conducted significant ISR mission in Sambisa general area. In addition, our ISRC observed Boko Haram terrorist activities in some part of northern Borno, such as Tumbunrego, along the Green Belt in areas like Tumbum Baba, and in southwest Maiduguri in areas like Alagano and Mangusu. The air component's activities in the quarters was therefore geared towards providing support for offensive and clearance operations conducted by the Theater Command and the Multinational Joint Task Force, as well as towards conducting own independent air operations. Next is a look at highlights of operation in support of Theater Command. Within the period under review, the air component carried out operations in support of Theater Command's conduct of Operation Deep Punch. Close air support was provided for troops of 21, 25, 26, and 28 brigades, Armed Forces, Special Forces, and Army HQ Strike Group to conduct clearance operation around Sambisa and Mutube. The air components also flew intensive ISR mission as well as air interdiction and close air support to assist troops of 27 and 28 brigades to conduct clearance operation at Talala, Ajikin, and Buk. Additionally, air support to troops of 103 Battalion of 7 Division Garrison was instrumental to their conduct of successful clearance operation in Yale, that is southeast of Borno, on the 7th of June 2017. in addition to the independent operations conducted by the air component to shape the environment for ground troops, other missions were in direct support of the ground troops offensive. For example, on the 27th of April, OWN ISR provided cover for troops of 27th Task Force Battalion that were in contact with Boko Haram terrorists. The ISR platform was able to guide the ground troops in the direction of the insurgent, which enabled them to repel the attack. Several tactical airlift missions were also conducted for ground troops. For instance, 7 wounded in action were evacuated from Polka to Maiduguri on the 15th of April, 2017, while 3 wounded in action were evacuated from Bicha to Maiduguri on 18th of April of the same year, and 14 wounded in action evacuated from Yali Garu to Maiduguri on the 5th of June. Other operations include the airlift of MRAP vehicle tires to Bama on 13th of April and over 1,600 kilograms of logistics from Maiduguri to Yali Garu on 5th of June. Several troops rotation missions were conducted with 264 personnel airlifted to and from various locations in the theater in the month of May 2017. Next is an highlight on operations in support of multinational joint task force. The multinational joint task force, NMJTF for short, which comprises forces from Cameroon, Chad, Niger, Benin Republic, and Nigeria, is currently conducting Operation Rawan Keda. The operation involves clearance operation in northern Borno with emphasis on Tumbun Jaki, Tumbun Rego, and Tumbun Muhu, as well as fringes of the Lake Chad. The advance commenced on 24th of March 2017 and is still ongoing. The component is providing ISR, hand recce, close air support, and air interdiction for the advancing troops. For example, on the 26th of June 2017, the air component conducted casualty evacuation mission for Chadian troops from Malam Fatori to Difa. Furthermore, on the 30th, following the observation of significant Boko Haram terrorist activities in Tumbun Rego and Al-Makaluri, the air component conducted coordinated air interdiction on a Boko Haram terrorist location east of Malkonori in concert with Nigerian Air Force using 1 F-7 and 2 Alpha jets. The battle damage assessment footage shown on the screen indicated the strikes were successful in neutralizing Boko Haram terrorists in the location. Let us take a look at the battle damage assessment. This is the vicinity. An F-7 has just dropped its bomb on one of the terrorist camp, and you could see fire engulfing the area. You could also see some survivors trying to flee to safety, and very soon you're going to see the Alpha jet take on some of the survivors. That is the Alpha jet striving. Next is a look at highlights of independent operation conducted in Sambisa area. During the period under review, the air component conducted several independent operations aimed at decimating Boko Haram terrorist infrastructure and shaping the battle space. For instance, at dawn of 28th of April 2017, the air component conducted an air interdiction mission on Boko Haram terrorists in a village 4 kilometers northeast of Mangusu, following ISR trail of the previous day. The air interdiction mission was conducted using one F-7NI aircraft and 2 Alpha Jet aircraft. From the battle damage assessment conducted after the strike, several Boko Haram terrorist structures and equipment were destroyed, while a few survivors were seen scrambling from the location. The footage is shown on the screen. This is the vicinity of interest, and you could see some of the terrorists moving about in the camp, as observed by the ISR. That's the first strike by F-7. And a BH technical was trying to move. It was further struck by another F-7. The Alpha Jet striking to wrap it up. Now the Alpha Jet strived with cannons to take on some of the fleeing terrorists. And at the end of the day, you could see some of them trying to evacuate some of the casualties. A recent significant air interdiction mission was also conducted on the 3rd of July on a Boko Haram terrorist settlement at Alagano. Several solar panels were seen on buildings in the location, which indicated that it was being used as a command and control facility or possibly housing high-value targets. The air interdiction mission was conducted using one F-7 and 2 Alpha Jet. Subsequent BDA revealed the structures with the solar panel as well as other adjoining structures were damaged. Also, a suspected Boko Haram terrorist technical attempted to make an exit run from the vicinity, but was struck by subsequent wave of attack. The footage of this strike is also as shown. That's a strike by the F-7 at one of the buildings with a solar panel, taking it up immediately. You could see the entire area engulfed in fire, and that's a technical trying to make an exit run, and as it's taken off by the Alpha Jet with a precision strike there. Another Alpha Jet strike is what we have just observed with the smoke. And the BDA is showing you here some of the damaged solar panels that were early sighted. Now let us take a look at overview of operational accomplishment and achievement in the second quarter. The aircraft types presently in the theater are shown on the screen. During the quarter, the L3 Line ZA aircraft was also brought in from time to time to bolster our offensive operation. Accordingly, based on the current situation in our area of responsibility, in second quarter of 2017, the air component conducted the following air mission: air interdiction, Air interdiction missions were conducted by the F-7NI, Alpha Jet, L-39ZA, Mi-17, and Mi-35M helicopters to neutralize Boko Haram terrorist targets within the theater. A total of 108 air interdiction sorties were conducted from April to June 2017. This is a marked increase over the figure of 80 air interdiction sorties conducted in the first quarter. This is an indication that the increase in the number of air assets introduced into the theater has enabled the air component to conduct simultaneous air interdiction missions. Next is close air support. The air component provided close air support in almost all the instances that the ground troops reported being in contact with BHTs. The F-7, Alpha Jet, Mi-35M provided close air support for the troops from April to June 2017, flying a total of 27 sorties, which is 10 sorties less than the mission conducted in the first quarter. The drop in close air support mission is indicative of the fact that the ground forces had less contact with Boko Haram terrorists than recorded in the first quarter. The implication here is that the insurgents are largely on the run and their capability to wage significant offensive has been curtailed, ostensibly due to significant pressure exerted by the air component's air interdiction operation. Let us take a look at armed recce and armed escort missions. Armed recce, AR for short, missions were conducted extensively to locate and engage opportunity targets, while armed escort missions were conducted to escort own platform transiting through vulnerable areas. The F-7, Alpha Jet, Mi-35 conducted a total of 129 armed recce and armed escort sorties from April to June 2017. This is less than 177 armed recce armed escort sorties conducted between January and March of the same year, largely due to a reduction in the area considered to be a stronghold of Boko Haram terrorist location. This reduction is due to air effort in concert with ground operation to flush out Boko Haram terrorists from their previous strongholds. What about the intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions? The Beechcraft, Diamond 42 aircraft, and CH-3 Alpha were used to conduct ISR over the theater. A total of 192 ISR sorties were conducted by this platform from April to June 2017. This is, however, slightly less than 208 ISR missions conducted in the first quarter, largely due to weather conditions during this period. Next is casualty evacuation and medical evacuation missions. Casualty evacuation and medical evacuation missions were conducted using Mi-17, AC-135, and Agusta 109 LUH helicopter. These missions continue to improve the survival rate of wounded in action and sick troops, thereby positively impacting on the morale of the fighting troops. A total of 21 sorties were conducted from April to June 2017, as against 27 conducted from January to March 2017. The marginal reduction in this mission is heartwarming, and the air component will continually strive to create favorable conditions necessary to reduce the need for casualty evacuation to the barest minimum. It is, however, gratifying to note that most of the sorties flown were for medical evacuation missions and a few casualty evacuation for non-life-threatening injuries. Tactical airlift is next. Troops movement and logistic resupply mission were effectively provided by the Mi-17, EC-135, and Agusta 109 LUH helicopter in the support of own and ground forces operation. On the whole, a total of 146 sorties were generated to airlift 550 persons and resupply 8,499 kilograms of logistics within the theater from April to June 2017. These figures are significantly lower than the previously recorded figure of 232 sorties to airlift 686 persons and resupply 25,567 kilograms of logistics. This is understandably so due to increased number of operations conducted by the ground forces in the first quarter. A look at combat air patrol mission. Combat air patrol missions were conducted to keep an eye on activities and potential threats in the outer and inner metropolis area of Maiduguri and Yola using the Mi-35 Augusta 109 LUH. A total of 15 sorties were generated for combat air patrol mission in second quarter of 2017. These missions were very useful in providing assurance of security perimeters in Yola and Maiduguri. A look at auxiliary missions. Some auxiliary missions were conducted in the theater, such as training mission, functional check flight missions, staff continuity training, base defense simulation, and ferry flights. A total of 151 sorties of auxiliary missions were conducted from April to June 2017. As indicated on the screen, our air efforts were focused largely on generating both day and night ISR and armed recce sorties to identify targets for air interdiction while also conducting several airlift missions in support of ground troops. Overall, from April to June 2017, a total of 568 missions were conducted in 821 sorties, with a total of 1,256 hours and 9 minutes flown by the various platforms. For all these sorties, a total of 1,227,502 liters of Jet A1 and 1,273 liters of MOGAS were consumed. At the rate of 280 naira per liter, this translates to 343,700,560 naira for Jet A1, while a total of 751,070 naira was expended on MOGAS at the rate of 590 naira per liter. This gives a total of 344,451,630 naira only expended on fuel alone within 90 days of operation. The air component also recorded some other achievements during the period under review. Some of the achievements include the conduct of significant liaison and humanitarian outreach missions. A few notable ones include the extraction of Chibok girls from Banki to Maiduguri, airlifting of INEC officials within the theater, provision of cancer screening and treatment to women and internally displaced persons camps, medical outreach and surgery for IDP, and airlifts of Presidential Committee on the Northeast. Other achievements were the airlift of VIPs and National Emergency Management Agency team within the theater, conduct of air operation during the acting president visit to Maiduguri, and daily feeding of school children in IDP camps. Let us start by looking at extraction of Chibok girls from Banki to Maiduguri on the 7th of May, 2017. On 7th May 2017, a total of 82 released Chibok girls were extracted from Banki to Maiduguri using the Mi-17, EC-135, and 2 Augusta 109 LUH helicopters. 18 members of International Committee of Red Cross and Department of State Services were also airlifted from Maiduguri to Banki and back to Maiduguri as part of the exercise. All the airlift missions were conducted in a total of 16 sorties using the 4 helicopters. Considering the nature of this operation, the air crew operated with tactical precision, and their experience was brought to bear while operating in the seemingly hostile environment. Next is a look at the airlifting of INEC officials within the theater. Between the 9th and 15th of May 2017, the air component conducted a liaison mission to airlift a total of 13 independent National Electoral Commission officials and their materials from Maiduguri to Ran and Goza and back to Maiduguri. The airlift missions were successfully conducted without any hitch. As a matter of fact, the missions are still ongoing, as between 14th and 16th of July 2017, the air component has airlifted 26 INEC officials to Banki, Ran, Gamborungala, Bama, and Goza. A look at provision of cancer screening and treatment to women from the internally displaced persons camp. From 16th to 22nd of May 2017, the Nigerian Air Force organized a one-week free cancer screening exercise at the newly established NAV Cancer Screening Center in Maiduguri. Over 40 women from different high DP camps in Borno State have so far benefited from the program. It was in fulfillment of the pledge earlier made by the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, to extend healthcare delivery to less privileged Nigerians, particularly those in high DP camps. The screening and treatment were conducted by NAV medical personnel who had earlier received in-house training as part of capacity building efforts of the NAV leadership. What about the medical outreach and surgery for internally displaced persons? As part of its medical outreach program, the Nigerian Air Force just concluded the conduct of free medical and surgical intervention for patients from Dalori, Bama, and Banki IDP camps. A total of 201 patients were treated, out of which 68 cases were non-surgical medical treatment, while 133 surgical interventions were carried out in 18 days of the exercise, which began on 8th of July 2017. The surgeries involved are mostly cataract extraction and general surgeries. The patients are flown from each of the camps to Maiduguri for the surgeries and flow back to their camps after the completion of the surgery. A video clip of an interview of one of the patients after a successful surgery is as shown on the screen. Next is a look at the airlift of the Presidential Committee on the Northeast. On the 20th of June, the air component conducted a liaison mission to airlift the Chairman Presidential Committee on the Northeast and 18 of his members of staff from Yola to Chibok and back to Yola. On 21st of July 2017, the air component also airlifted members of the Presidential Committee on Distribution of Relief Material to internally displaced persons in Bama and Gwoza. Next is airlift of Minister of State for Budget and Planning and DG NEMA team within the theater. On the 3rd of July 2017, the air component conducted a liaison mission to airlift the Minister of State for Budget and Planning, the Director General NEMA, and 11 members of the entourage from Maiduguri to Potuskum, Damaturu, and back to Maiduguri. The team was accompanied by the Executive Governor of Borno State. Let us also take a look at air operations during the acting president's visit to Maiduguri. On the 8th of June 2017, the acting president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osibajo, flagged up the federal government's emergency food intervention program for IDPs in the Northeast. During this exercise, the air component played a significant role. The Nigerian Air Force C-130 aircraft was used to convey logistics for the event by ferrying 400 bags of guinea corn from Maiduguri. Also, combat air patrols were conducted using the Mi-35 to ensure maximum security both within and around Maiduguri metropolis, while the F-7 NI aircraft and Alpha Jet provided air cover for ground troops. In addition, troops of the air component were used to tighten security in various key positions. It is noteworthy that these visits occurred a day after there was a bomb blast in Maiduguri. However, through the operations conducted by the air component in concert with ground troops, the event was hitch-free. A look at daily feeding of school children in internally displaced persons camps. On the 28th June 2017, the Nigerian Air Force commenced the daily feeding of school children at the internally displaced persons camps in Dalori and Bama as part of its renewed effort to promote primary school education among disadvantaged pupils. The program entails the provision of 1 meal a day to 500 school children, each from both camps. Accordingly, a total of 1,000 children will benefit from the program every day for the next 8 months. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, mooted the idea of the school feeding scheme so as to reduce malnutrition among the pupils in order to give them the opportunity to attend school in good health. It will be recalled that only recently, the Nigerian Air Force airlifted 4,000 cartons of Indomie noodles donated by Tolaram African Enterprise worth 10 million naira to Maiduguri to supplement the nutritional program for children in IDP camps. The NAF intends to intensify its humanitarian efforts in the crisis area as part of its contribution to adding value to the society and as a means of winning the hearts and minds of the populace. Now let us take a look at challenges in the conduct of air operations. The successes recorded by the air component from April to June 2017 were not achieved without a few setbacks and challenges. Although efforts were put in place to as much as possible mitigate these challenges, one of them is still worth of mention. The major challenge that affected air operation during the period was adverse weather. This is, however, to be expected in the theater during the period under review. Thunderstorms and rainfall impacted negatively on some air operation during the period. There were days that flights had to be delayed or cancelled outrightly for reasons of weather. Notwithstanding this, the air component still conducted significant air operations during the period. Now, what are the lessons learned? Permit me to first of all put on record that in the conduct of our operation in the Northeast, the air component, and by implication, the Nigerian Air Force, places the highest premium on the preservation of life and properties of innocent citizens. We have had cause to abort several air interdiction missions when there were slightest indication that the strike would directly or indirectly affect innocent civilians as well as women and children. To this end, we constantly evaluate our activities and procedures to ensure that lessons are learned for the improvement of our operational efficiency and conduct in terms of preventing harms to innocent public, including women and children. In a similar vein, we take due diligence to ensure the safe conduct of operation in order to preserve the lives of own personnel and those of the surface forces. Hence, the air component exercises utmost caution and professionalism in the conduct of its operations. While military operations of the current magnitude are inevitably accompanied by an acceptable measure of risk and incident, it is essential that lessons are learned from the incident and everything done to prevent reoccurrence. For instance, during the period under review, there was an incident involving Agusta 109 LUH helicopter, which developed a technical fault at a critical stage in flight. Fortunately, the professionalism and experience of the well-trained crew was instrumental in bringing the situation to a favorable condition without any loss of life or serious injuries to persons. Detailed investigations have already commenced by the accident investigation team. It is expected that after the investigation, the outcomes therefrom will go a long way in ensuring that the air component does not experience any repeat of such occurrence. Now, our projection for the third quarter. In view of the prevailing weather and the associated environmental impediments, operations by the ground troops have not continued at a desirable pace. Such a situation, though common to both sides of the conflict, increases the opportunity and freedom of maneuver for Boko Haram terrorists to still constitute a nuisance to a few locations. Currently, the sect has adapted to the use of foliage and the dense vegetation to evade detection by own ISR platform. Thus, the air component in sustaining its offensive air operation against the sect will intensify efforts to find, locate, and destroy all the vestige of Boko Haram terrorists within its assigned area of responsibility and beyond. This will be an area of utmost importance as we progress into favorable weather conditions to guarantee surface forces the desired freedom of movement and maneuver. Accordingly, the projection of the air component in the next quarter are: 1. To conduct ISR, armed recce, close air support, and air interdiction operation in support of ground troops operation in Sambisa and other areas in the theater. 2. To vigorously pursue the employment of other sources of intelligence gathering to augment products from our ISR efforts. 3. To intensify aerial operation in support of multinational joint task force operation, that is Operation Rawankeda, in northern Borno and the Greenbelt region. 4. To sustain intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance around the theater with a view to conducting independent air interdiction mission on confirmed targets. 5. To continue the support of humanitarian and medical outreach program in Bama and Dalori IDP camps with a view to winning the hearts and minds of the civil populace. It is expected that all these efforts will contribute towards the air component's efforts to clear Boko Haram terrorists from their camps and hideouts, and to enable ground troops to dominate the entire Northeast and restore normalcy and better life to innocent citizens in the Northeast. In conclusion, within the period under review, the air component actively supported the Theater Command in continuation of the latest clearance operation under Operation Deep Punch. This was additional to several air operations conducted in support of multinational joint task force ongoing Operation Rawan Keda. Further to missions conducted in direct support of the ground troops offensive, the air component also carried out independent operations to shape the environment for ground troops to operate effectively. These were executed through the provision of extensive intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance over the airstrikes and identify legitimate targets. In addition to supporting the ground forces, the air component conducted independent air operations in areas where Boko Haram terrorist activities were observed to be taking place. These are evident in the various successful strikes recorded against Boko Haram terrorist targets, like buildings with solar panels, vehicles, and technicals, as well as gathering of insurgents. The successes recorded in the period were achieved through a range of air operations comprising of air interdiction, close air support, armed recce, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, and tactical airlift missions. The air component also recorded other achievements, including several successful liaison missions, casualty evacuation, and humanitarian operations. Notwithstanding the current challenges of weather, which have an effect on the conduct of our operation and also provide more vegetation within which Boko Haram terrorists conceal their activities, the air component aims to consolidate on the achievement recorded in the second quarter of 2017 by concentrating our efforts in areas where Boko Haram terrorist activities are still observed. On this note, our sincere gratitude goes to the Chief of the Air Staff for the unwavering support to the air component in order to make these achievements possible. On our part, we are always willing, able, and ready to carry out any given additional task. Thank you for your rapt attention, and God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. We are in section, question and answer section. You are to indicate your name, indicate the organization you represent, and now present your question.
Good afternoon. The commander, Emmanuel Ande is my name.
Sorry, Dan?
Emmanuel Ande is my name. I report for the Guardian newspaper. Sir, as you mentioned it in your speech, that the rainy season is affecting your operation because of thunder and heavy downpour. Sir, what are you putting in place to ensure that Boko Haram did not hide or take advantage of this season to wreak more havoc, since you are having challenges?
Okay, next question, please.
George Kushi is my name. I report for AIT and Ray Power. Sir, much as you have highlighted the achievements recorded so far on the fight on the insurgency, only recently it was reported that about 10 or more NMPC staff were kidnapped by Boko Haram terrorists. Sir, what is the Nigerian Air Force doing to ensure that these victims and others also in captive are rescued? Thank you.
Thank you. How many minutes more do we have? That will determine how many questions.
Thank you very much.
5 minutes, okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Commander. Inasmuch as the kidnapped NNPC victims have been recovered or rescued, sir, what measures are you people putting in place to ensure that more Nigerians are no longer kidnapped? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you for those wonderful questions. For lack of time, let me answer these 3 questions, and if we have more time, we'll continue. Okay, Emmanuel from Guardian newspaper, thank you for your question. As I earlier highlighted in the brief, the challenge posed by the season is affecting both sides of the conflict. And on our part, as the air component, we took more of the charge during this period because it's a bit difficult for the ground troops to move because of the nature of the soil in Maiduguri. If you understand it very well, most of the equipment could easily bog down. So the extent of normalcy you see now is solely or majorly through the effort of air component through our operations of ISR and air interdiction. We have the technology to check the weather, analyze it, and know when to operate, and we do that to optimize all available period to ensure that the Boko Haram terrorists are kept on the ground and interdicted and destroyed at any given time. I believe I was able to highlight some of those achievements within this period, even despite the challenges of weather. Now to the question raised by George from AIT. Well, on our part, as the air component, we were informed by the Theater Command on the evening of 25th of July, as 2 days back, about the unfortunate incident. And immediately, we mobilized all necessary and required air assets to support the ground troop who had commenced process of search and rescue. That operation continued throughout the night of 25th, throughout 26th, and is still ongoing as I talk to you. We've been able to provide necessary guidance to the ground troop, and we are still providing. Our air interdiction platform have been on standby, and have also been conducting handbraking. So everything is being done to support the search and rescue team. And then on the final note, what more do we do to avoid such incident? Everything will be done, I can assure you. Everything will be done, but I don't want to itemize or highlight this. They are classified information. It won't be good for the same purpose. So I can assure you everything is being done. Thank you. Do you have more time? Sorry, I can't get you. Owolabi? From, eh?
My name is Owolabi Adelusi.
Okay.
I report for TVC News.
TVC, okay.
My question, I want to ask, what is your organization, the Air Force and the human rights activists? It has come to many international organizations as a case of security.
Like I mentioned in my brief, we place utmost premium on the issue of life and properties of innocent citizens. And the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, reiterates this to us every day. After every brief, he ensures and continuously reminds us that whatever it takes, including let go of some targets, if it will affect innocent lives, that of children or women, we must let go. We must preserve those innocent lives and property. That is our #1 priority, despite all the challenges of Boko Haram. So on the part of the Air Force, I'm sure you cannot find us one thing. We do our utmost best.
Thank you, sir. So with this, we have come to the end of this second quarter media brief. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, that has been the highlights of the involvement of the air component of Operation Lafia Dole in the counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast, codenamed Operation Lafia Dole. They have the motto, fix, strike, and win, and the highlight of this press briefing has exactly explained how much they have been involved and how much has been won in terms of the insurgency counter-operation. And that's all we can bring from this side. Thank you for being with us on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority.
This is the network service of the NTA. We'll be joining our outside broadcast crew for another live broadcast.
Vote now. Vote now. Time is out. Honorable colleagues, the result of the vote, the ayes have 248, 1 member abstained, 46 said nay. So the ayes haven't garnered more than 240, the ayes have it. We move to bill number 12. We move to bill number 12. This appointment of minister from FCT, not appointment of minister of FCT, from FCT. So we take attendance. Honorable Jagaba. We have voted, that is all. We are not going back, please. We are going to bill number 12. Bill number 12. In any case, Honorable Jagaba, for all the bills that are dead in the Senate, they are already dead here. We're just doing it so that the public will know where we stand on those issues. Not that they can actually be resurrected. They are already dead. Except they resurrect them in the Senate, we can't do anything. Even if we pass it here, it goes to no issue. So, appointment of ministers from FCT. We'll take attendance now. Bill number 12. Attendance. Register now. Honorable Issa, you have not registered. Press green. Register now. Register now. Time is out. We have 292. So we take the votes now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Very unfortunate.
They should come and join Southeast. They should come and join Southeast. Lena. Let them join Southeast. Let them join Southeast.
Honorable colleagues, is there a procedure for repeat, or we'll move on? Honorable colleagues, sorry, honorable colleagues, please listen. Sorry, please, honorable colleagues, in view of the fact that, in view of the fact that so many members are saying we should repeat it, let's in the see.
Nothing like repeat. You can never repeat anything here.
No repetition.
No repetition.
No, we can't repeat.
No repetition.
Honorable colleagues, it's okay. We will go by the result of what we have. Honorable colleagues, we have the ayes of 191, 3 members abstain. The nays have 91. So we failed to gather the 240 votes required to pass it, and the nays have it. We move to Bill number 13. Change of names of local government councils. Change of names of local government councils. We'll take attendance now. Register now. Honorable TJ. Register now. Register now. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Time is up. Only 277 members registered. Honorable Lam, you are moving, you want to talk about change of the names? What are you amending? All the constituents have sent representation, they want their names changed. What are you amending? Someone minds his own.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Adedapo Lamadeshino. I represent the very good people of Ibadan, Southeast and Northeast Federal Constituency. I'm from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, if you look at this bill, there is a part where the Constitution states Ibadan Central. There is nothing like Ibadan Central. It is Ibadan Northeast local government. And a lot of my constituents have been contacting me, telling me that even the N-Power registration, it has been very difficult for them to register because it shows only Ibadan Central. There is no Ibadan Northeast local government there. Thank you very much.
We can't, Honorable Lam, it's unfortunate there's no way we can take that now because it will be very risky. We can't take it. Honorable Gisalo, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, when you call the issue of city, people didn't know what he said.
Yes, yes.
And I know that because there was some confusion,
yes,
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, yes.
There were confusion. We didn't know what he said, Mr. Speaker. Because the whole line is there, Mr. Speaker, we didn't know what he said. So I'm calling that we should go back and then call the number again, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gisalo, I think members have had this bill since last week and from Monday to now. So we can't begin to talk about members didn't know what it was all about. Now, the only way we can help you now is to produce the outcome of the vote and give it to you. So the members who voted nay, you can revoke their certificate of occupancies. That is all. Honorable colleagues, we'll take attendance on bill number 13. Change of name, number 13. Are we set? Yeah. Let's go. Register now. Honorable colleagues, register. Honorable Garo, register. Honorable Shehu Garba, register now.
Is loans and debt. They register where how is
289 attendance. We are going to vote. Vote now. Bill number 13. Change of names of some local government councils. Vote now. Vote now. Honorable colleagues,
some are protesting that they didn't hear.
Honorable colleagues, we can't go back.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
What the dear said, there could have been.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable colleagues, please. Let's always pay attention to what we are voting on.
Mr. Speaker.
Let's always pay attention to what we are voting on, please. Because like in this instant case,
Mr. Speaker,
it was...
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir.
It was a case of just simple typographical correction. Simple typographical corrections. One,
Mr. Speaker.
The result is as follows. The ayes 220, 8 members abstain, and the nays 57. So we failed to secure the 240 votes required to pass it, and so the nays have it. There's nothing you can do now. Honorable Chinda.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues.
How are you?
Yeah. No, they must listen.
They must listen, no.
Honorable colleagues, can we listen to Honorable Kazim?
I said you should talk.
Honorable Kazim, where are you going to? No member should leave, please. Please. You can't leave while the voting is going on. Honorable Chinda.
Thank you, sir. My dear colleagues, my name is Kingsley Chinda. I represent Toby Abo Federal Constituency. I'm an inquiry man from Rivers State. My dear colleagues, I would only want to crave. I know that we have passed this stage according to our rules, but laws are made for men, not men for laws. If there are clear errors, I think that we can still look at the issues and correct them.
Yeah.
Firstly,
tell them what this bill is. Tell them what the bill is. They don't know. Explain it. Explain it.
my dear colleagues, listen first. Listen. My dear colleagues, perhaps if we are given opportunity.
When you voted against separation, this issue was just correction.
I voted for it now.
Not even mistake in spelling. Is it what we vote against?
Let's vote on the separation first.
Honorable Chinda, just take your seat, please. Well, the truth is, Honorable Said, there's nothing we can do about it. That's the truth. We can't go back. There's nothing else to say. Okay, Chidoka.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, please, my name is Obina Chidoka. Idemili North, Idemili South. Right, Honorable Speaker, I think going forward, every member should please listen attentively, and each bill should be explained out properly. This last bill was just a harmless bill, but I guess members weren't listening. We should listen properly with explanation before we vote. I think that will help us going forward. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Kaita.
Mr. Speaker, I think Mr. Speaker, as you rightly said here, these documents were shared to us last week. And I'm afraid that if you begin to after taking vote, the votes are very clear and they have expressed the wishes of the members. And I'm afraid if you begin to go back, we'll never leave here. People will be calling for a reversal of their vote. So please, let's move on, sir.
Well, the only...
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Chidoka Faleke. Honorable Faleke, please go and take your seat. Honorable Aminu Shagari. Honorable Shagari, please. Honorable Faleke.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think it's good that I come clean on this issue, sir. What happened on the matter of this bill is an unfortunate misunderstanding. Most of the amendments here are just typographical errors and simple, harmless changes. But the issue is, you see, number D, which came up during the consideration of this bill. What the committee said was, let the change of Bariki Ladi to Gol. What the committee suggested was that this thing should be taken back to state assemblies. Knowing the volatile nature of Plateau State, we said, take it back to the assemblies. If they want the change of name, then you bring it back to us, then we pass it. That was the only issue there. But people misunderstood it to be the committee did not do what they wanted them to do, so they are going to kill the bill. So if you now explain to them,
honorable colleagues, please. Speaker, let's move on, please. Honorable Said, we sympathize with you, but there's nothing we can do, please. Okay, talk if you want to say whatever you want to say.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Said Akande Fijabi. I'm from Ibadan, Oyo State. Sir, on
silence, please.
Number 13,
please.
I think it's very important.
Silence.
It's just change of name. And there is a member from Ibadan, Southeast, Northeast, that is sitting down in this National Assembly. But in the Constitution, it says Ibadan Central. It's very important. Members should know that. And Atisbo, what is happening in Atisbo is just S. And I think, member, it's very important that we are not creating local government. We are just saying amend the name, spellings. And it's very, very important. Thank you, sir.
Said, I was just merely going to listen to you, but you know that we cannot go back. Please. So it's unfortunate. These bills have been with us for long. Everybody has studied it. So I don't want to listen to that excuse that we don't know what we're talking about.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
So we move on. Bill number 14, please. Independent candidature, new. Independent candidature will take attendance. Attendance, please. Register now. Register now. Register now. Register now. Honorable Jagaba, Uncle, you don't want to vote? Honorable Amade. Registration is over. We have 300. Leader, I don't know whether it was here that we thought of saying instead of INEC determining the rules, it should be in consequence of an act of National Assembly. So that amendment has to be moved, please, before we vote. It's been corrected? Corrected? Okay.
New.
Okay.
Why it carries new.
Okay. So we're prepared to vote on independent candidature. Independent candidature. Oya. Vote now. Bill number 14. Vote now.
14.
Vote now.
1-4.
Vote now.
1-4.
Vote now. Vote now. Honorable Ima Ikon, vote now. Why are you just casually walking around?
He has lost an opportunity.
Honorable colleagues, the ayes have 275, 1 member abstained, the nays have 14. Having garnered more than 240, the ayes have it. Number 15, honorable colleagues, the Nigeria Police Force. The Nigeria Police Force. The amendment is just to remove the word force from Nigeria Police. Registration will begin. Register now. Green button. Register now. Honorable Abaga, have you registered? Magically. Honorable Dambaram, sit down, register. Register now. Result is 296. We are just removing the word force, so there's no amendment there, please. We'll go for voting. Vote now, honorable colleagues. Vote now.
Yeah.
Vote now. Vote now. What are you amending? Vote now. Vote. Voting is over. The ayes have 280. 4 members abstained. 9 members voted no. So the ayes haven't gathered more than 240. The ayes have it. Honorable Dambaram, what's your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Dambaram Abubakar Nuhu, representing Kano Municipal, the only gentleman from the municipality in the whole of the Green Chamber, and I am from Kano State. Thank you.
Honorable Dambaram, you need to clear yourself. I thought the emir is from municipal, and yet you are the only gentleman.
Mr. Speaker,
stay on the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I said in the Green Chamber. I said in the Green Chamber, Mr. Speaker. In the Green Chamber, Mr. Speaker. And I think I have immunity now. I have immunity now. Mr. Speaker, I'm coming under Order 8.5 on the personal explanation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
No personal explanation, please.
Mr. Speaker,
just make your observation.
I think
no personal explanation.
My right in this House has been infringed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't know why when I raise my hand on the issue that I have an amendment, you didn't recognize me, and when other people are raising their hand on amendment, you are recognizing them, and they were raising that amendment.
Okay, from now henceforth,
whether my amendment will be in order or not, I think, Mr. Speaker, I should be recognized and be heard, so that the House can decide otherwise whether to accept it or not. And I raise my case, Mr.
Okay,
Speaker.
since you are the only gentleman, I will now recognize you. So, you are noted. I have to pay attention to when you are raising your hand. You know we're 360 here, so it's not easy for my eyes to catch any member that is raising his eyes. So I beg your pardon, Honorable Dambara. Bill 16. Is restriction of tenure of the president and governor. Pardon? Attendance. Wait first. Okay, register now. Register now. Register now. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds. 2 seconds. Time is out. 301 in attendance, 301 registered. So we start voting. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Honorable Dati, you are not voting?
Yes, no, Governor.
Whip, are you voting at all? Okay, the result is as follows. Yes, 292. Abstain 3. Nays 3. So the ayes haven't gathered more than 240. The ayes have it. We move to Bill 17. We are making progress, but we still have plenty. Bill 17 is separation of the office of Accountant General. That's a very straightforward bill. It's been debated. Chairman, Rules and Business. Chairman, Rules and Business. I thought you are a member of the Constitutional Review Committee. So you are not, please, I will not listen to you. Please. Honorable Osai, are you a member? Is Honorable Osai a member of the... Oh, okay. Honorable Osai, please. It's off.
Separation of office of Accountant General of the Federation from that of...
Okay, it's okay now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. My amendment is predicated upon the removal of Accountant General of the Federation. Mr. Speaker, my amendment follows this way. Say the Accountant General of the Federation shall be removed by the President acting on a resolution supported by 2/3 majority of the National Assembly instead of Senate.
Yes, National Assembly.
National Assembly. Two of them. So remove the word Senate and put in National Assembly.
Honorable Osai, in the presidential democracy that we practice, confirmation really is the power of the Senate. Ours is appropriations. Please.
Yeah, power of the confirmation, Mr. Speaker.
So,
Mr. Speaker,
I don't know.
Power of the confirmation is different from power of removal.
No.
Power of confirmation is different from power of removal.
No,
the Constitution only gave power. I'm coming. The Constitution only gave power to Senate for confirmation. And now we are importing a new clause. I'm coming.
Sir, take your seat. We have had you. Honorable Bago, please, quickly.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, I want to concur with Honorable Osai, with the reason that the constitutional responsibility, as it were, for Senate is confirmation. But I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, this House of Representatives also confirm aids to the President, and those things are brought to this floor. So the removal, we should also be part of the removal. We cannot abdicate all our powers to the Senate. We are independent and we are the most strongest arm of this parliament.
Any seconder to the proposed amendment?
Yes.
Honorable Shaun Bonvic. Bovita. Oh, okay, sorry, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Honorable Mishagun is my name. I represent the good people of Ogolu Asulere Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, the amendment, ably moved by Honorable Osai. I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. So we are voting with the amendment. Oh, Dambaram is still raising his hands.
Sir, it's very,
okay,
very important.
After him, you move your amendment.
Thank you. Sir, very important amendment. And this is, we should run thus. The Accountant General of the Federation shall be removed by the President on an address. But if you say on a resolution, which means the resolution comes from the Senate, and then it also supported, he just supports them. So he should be the one to initiate, and then they now confirm also. It's very important.
That one has been taken now.
That's the law.
From Senate, this amendment now moves it to National Assembly. That's what the proposal does. So it's no longer Senate.
Yeah, but what we are saying, it should be on an address. On an address. Then he send it to the National Assembly. Okay.
Honorable Udil, please, can you listen to?
Honorable Dambaram, let's take your amendment, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Dambram Abubakar Nu, representing Kano Municipal, the only gentleman in the Green Chamber from the municipality. Mr. Speaker, my own is that why are we taking the powers of the president on something that is executive? Now we are trying to make it as power.
Is it an amendment or what, please?
To me,
propose your amendment. If you don't have any amendment, sit down, please.
My own amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman, rules and business.
Let's just say no. No. Yes, no. No. Why are you worried?
Chairman, rules and business. Please, can you move the amendment? My attention has been drawn to apparent contradiction in section 84 subsection 1 and 84 subsection 2 of this very bill that we're considering.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff. I represent the good people of Buruku, my dear colleagues. I'm from Benue State. My dear colleagues, if you go to page 62, the section 84C1 of the bill, it says, the Accountant General of the Federation shall hold office for a term of 5 years, which may be renewed for a further term of 5 years. That will make it 10. The very next one, which 2, the Accountant General shall remain in office until he attains the age of 60 years or 35 years of public service, whichever one is earlier. So the question is, even if he does his 10 years, and is not up to 35 years in service or 60 years of age, he will still remain in office. So it's contradictory. The better option is that which is found on page 69.
69, the drafting, when we are talking about, it says the Attorney General of the Federation, this is a different bill, but I'm recommending the drafting. It says the Attorney General of the Federation shall hold office for a single term of 6 years and no more, or until he attains the age of 65 years or 35 years in public service, whichever one is earlier. So that I'm proposing an amendment that this section should be drafted the same way we have drafted section 17 of the next bill. I so move.
Nasiru Ali Madaki. Aliyu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Nasir Ali Ahmed. I represent Nasarawa Federal Constituency and I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
So we'll vote on that amendment is to make it very certain that regardless of your age, if you serve 2 terms of 10 years, you are out of office, even if you are not up to 60 years. Pardon? No, that will not solve the problem, leader. It will not. What Honorable the Chairman Rules and Business trying to, the mischief is that if I serve for 2 terms of 5 years, and then the Constitution says that I can continue in office until I'm 35, 60, whichever one is later, and if I have not made those 35 or 60, I'm entitled to challenge under the Constitution that I should continue until I'm 60 years old, even if I've served for 10 years. So it's better for the Constitution to be very, very clear. And what he proposed will make it absolutely clear that you can't have more than 10 years, regardless of your age. Yes, so it's been seconded, and I'll put the question. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. So we'll proceed to take attendance. Register now. Register now.
Dogwa, please go to your seat.
3 seconds remaining.
Intentional one. Civil servants wanted to cover them.
Yes. 301 is the attendance. So proceed to vote. We are voting on the bill as amended. Vote now. Vote now. Yes. Vote now. 5 seconds remaining. Time out. The ayes have 274. 2 members abstain. The nays 23. I wonder why some of our colleagues are abstaining, really. Is it on grounds of principle, or is it just to ensure that we have some votes on all the options? So the ayes haven't garnered more than 240. The ayes have it. So we move to the next one, which is Office of the Auditor General. Auditor General. If there's no amendment, we'll take attendance. Honorable Frederick.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, honorable colleagues. My name is Agbedi Yeitemene Frederick. I represent Sagbama Ikeremo Federal Constituency. Izonkeme, I am from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, sorry, sir, my amendment is on the next one. I'm very sorry, sir.
Please, honorable colleagues, if you have checked the bills and if you have any amendments, please note them and send them so that we don't waste much time. Minority Leader amendment, you are a member of the Constitutional Review Committee. Why didn't you correct it at that time?
They should register.
Yeah? Okay.
Okay, no, we can cancel.
Which year? Mr. Chairman, sir, let's look at, I need to amend this clear provision that borders on the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. Now, when you look at the concept, page 64, authorization of expenditure from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the federal government. The Auditor General of the Federation is going to handle almost everything about the Federation. Why should his charges in respect of his expenditure be going only to the federal government? Specifically where there is a major difference between the Federation and the consolidated account of the federal government. Because here, if you put the expenditure here, what you will be doing is that the federal government will be paying for the services that he will be offering to almost the states and every other issue. So I believe that this is an issue the committee probably would look at properly. But I wasn't there because I had some challenges. I think if he's the Auditor General of the, please listen to me and you will understand what I'm saying. If he's the Auditor General of the Federation, then definitely it is not only the federal government that should take the expenses. So I think it should come out of either the Federation account, which is clearly stated in section 162.
Well, he is saying that he was challenged. Otherwise, that was why he didn't attend this session where this matter was taken. Otherwise, I was inclined not to listen to him. But the issue he has raised is German. Sorry, please, let's listen to this. The Auditor General of the Federation renders services for both local government, states, and the Federation. But by this provision, he's only paid for his services from the share of the federal government. So he's suggesting that why don't we move it to the Federation account so that Whip, Deputy Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think in the case of Auditor General of the Federation, the attempt to separate Auditor General into Federation and federal government did not scale through. And so we are not making any difference here. It is in the case of Accountant General that we now have Accountant General of the Federation and the Accountant General of federal government. We are not changing anything. All we are simply saying is that for the Auditor General of the Federation, who is essentially the Auditor General of the federal government, to be independent enough to carry out his job, we need to give him financial muscle. And that is what this thing is about.
So the leader is raising issue as to the burden, whether the burden should be distributed among
all states. All states have their Auditor Generals. This man is not going to override any Auditor General of state.
Okay, Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues. Mr. Chairman, I think in this situation, all the states of the Federation, they have Auditor Generals of the states. They have Auditor Generals of the states. The Auditor General of the Federation deals with MDAs that are particular to the federal government. So I wouldn't think that it will be auspicious for us to shift the burden that is the responsibility of the federal government to the states that we are trying to lighten their burden.
Let's move on to take attendance, please. Register now. Register now. Bill number 18, Auditor General. Register now. Register now. Register now. Time out. We have 302 registered as present. So we vote Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Ten seconds remaining. The result is out. The ayes have 289 votes. 0 member abstained. The nays have 11. The ayes haven't gathered more than 240. Have carried the day, so the ayes have it. We move to Bill 19. Do we have any notice of amendment here on Bill 19? Separation of the office of Attorney General of the Federation and of the state from the office of the Minister or Commissioner for Justice. Honorable Fred.
Thank you, sir.
That one is a yes.
Okay, try it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Agbedi Yeitemune Frederick. I represent Sagbama Kremo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I want to refer us to page 70. Page 70. That is removal 174G. Mr. Speaker, I want to move that on the issue of removal, here it is said the Attorney General of the Federation shall be removed from office by the President, acting on a resolution supported by 2/3 majority of the Senate, praying that he be so removed by inability to discharge the functions of his office, whether arising from infirmity of mind or body or any other cause, or for misconduct, negligence of duty, or incompetence. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I pray that we delete the word Senate and replace it with National Assembly. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
So, amendment? Any seconder? Honorable Amiru.
My name is Honorable Amiru Tukur, member representing Bakor Denja, I'm from Katsina State. I rise to second the amendment heavily made by my honorable colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. So I think that amendment has taken care of all amendments. Honorable Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Dixon Taki. I represent Makurdi Guma Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, the area I feel the House should amend is the tenure of office of the Attorney General. The Attorney General is an appointee of the President. If we are restricting his tenure here, I'm referring us to page 69 of the proposed amendment. 69174E. Yeah, it reads, the Attorney General of the Federation shall hold office for a single term of 6 years and no more until he attains the age of 65 years or 35 years in public service. I'm wondering why they were placing age to an office that is a cabinet office, whereby the President can appoint anybody that is 69
Attorney General is not a cabinet office. Minister of Justice is cabinet, not Attorney General. That's the mischief that this amendment is seeking to cure. So we have taken one amendment, Honorable Dixon. We have heard you loud and clear. Kindly take your seat. It's not a cabinet position anymore.
Okay.
We'll register because of time.
In the US is a political appointee.
We are on number 19. Are we saying?
It's a political appointee.
Just to kill it.
Number 19. Register now. Register now. Register now. Register now. Register now. We deal, why are you not voting? 302 is the attendance. We are voting. Vote now. 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 Honorable colleagues, the result is like this. The ayes have 234. 3 members abstained. The nays have 58. So the ayes, the ayes. Okay, your card didn't work. We have had you, but even if we add you on the ayes, it will still fall short. If we add you on the nays, it will still fall short. So, yes. So the nays have it. But this is an important. Bill number 20. Bill number 20. Attendance, register now. TJ, why have you been walking all around? Why are you not voting? You have been all, I've noticed that you are just, are you that restive?
TJ.
Register now.
Resume your seat, TJ.
Register now.
You can't be going around lobbying now. It's late for lobby.
We have 288 registered present. So we'll vote. Vote now. Bill number 20, submission from the judiciary. Submission from the judiciary, bill number 20. Vote now. Vote now.
Yes.
The vote is over. The result is like this. Yes, ayes have 265, abstain 7, no 6. So the ayes have it. We move to 21, which is determination of pre-election matters. Very, very important amendment. We will take record of attendance. Attendance. Register now. Register now. Register now. Register now. We have 295 registered. Some members are standing, they didn't register. So we vote now.
Vote, yes.
Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Time out. We have the result 288. Ayes, abstain 1, no 3. So the ayes having garnered 288 votes have passed the threshold of 240, and the ayes have it. I thought we will turn down that one. So we move to Bill number 22, Consequential Amendments on Civil Defense. Bill number 22.
22.
Register. Register now. Register now. Register now. 10 seconds left. Honorable Nana, have you registered? Okay. Register now. Time out. 299 members registered, and then we'll vote. I'll announce when we're ready. Vote now.
Yes.
Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. The result, honorable colleagues, like this: yes, the ayes have 293, abstain 1, the nays have 2. Ayes have garnered more than 240 votes, and the ayes have it. We move to the next, which is Bill number 23, talking about citizenship and indigenship. Citizenship and indigenship. Where is Honorable EJ? This is where you should be, your vote should be seen. Indigenship, citizenship and indigenship for women. Pardon? So, register now. Time is over. No, I don't think we registered. We would reject that. Take attendance. Go back to attendance. Honorable colleagues, have you started? Start now. Okay, register now. 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 Time is out. We have 303 registered to vote, and we shall now vote. Honorable colleagues, vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Time out. The result, honorable colleagues, like this: the ayes who are sympathetic to the women folk have 216. 2 members abstain. The nays have 77. So we failed the threshold of 240, and the nays have it. Honorable colleagues, if you notice anything, it's because some members are not voting, and we can't capture them. We are guarded by our records here. What is it now? Honorable colleagues, let me announce the result from here. What happened? But it's the same thing I'm seeing here. Was there any confusion? If there was confusion, we have to go back. Look at this now, this one.
Appear to be disagreeing on the votes and the result of the bill that seeks to, empower women to decide the citizenship they want to take. Especially, they can have the right and power to, claim the citizenship of the state of their husbands. But, the Speaker announced the result of that bill. But members are now trying to raise objection that they didn't see the result, but actually the notice board, the electronics board, did not display it. But before this time, they were always displayed, but it appears there are some technical hitch that did not allow the figures that show on the electronics display board. Well, at that point in time, the Speaker announced that out of 303 members in attendance, 216 voted in favor of that bill, where women will be allowed to take the citizenship of their husband's state, while 77 members, voted against it. 2 abstained, but the members are saying no, that they didn't see it on the notice board. Well, I think that is trying to be resolved at the moment.
Colleagues, let's take our seats. Let's take our seats. We will go back. No. We will go back.
Out of what? Out of what? I have to. Dixie.
As we can all see, there at the Green Chamber, women have risen up. Well, if you like to call it well, they've risen up to the occasion. As a matter of fact, now just before the presiding officer, the speaker, women are now protesting that they are not comfortable with that that result, basically because they did not see it displayed on the board, on the electronic board. But actually, the speaker did read the results of the vote from the electronic printout given to him by the technicians. And then from the look of things, you can see that not only women, there are women sympathizers as well. I can see quite a number of their male counterparts raising their hands and clamoring for, well, what they could describe as a display of the results. You know, so as a matter of fact, what this bill basically seeks to achieve is to empower a married woman to assume the indigenship of the state of her husband, which before now is actually not like that. And then when this becomes constitutional, they believe it to give them more avenue to be involved politically. Well, this has taken quite some time, and then the women are still raising their hands, and both their voices and their body languages are actually communicating. It is rather quite interesting to see that actually the Nigerian women are actually standing up to what they feel is what they should do to enhance their political capacity. Yes, we have in some African countries, like for instance countries like Uganda, Kenya, these countries, women have actually been elevated. Women have constitutional roles that gives them leverage for more political participation. For instance, in Uganda, where you have some political seats reserved exclusively for women. And I think Nigerian women, I believe, are rising up to the occasion. And then we believe at this moment, this is one of those fora where they could express what they feel and what they think they should do. So, but basically, the confusion here is not, as a matter of fact, as a result of oppression, no. But the issue is that the electronic device did not display the results of the last vote, which is on indigenship and citizenship, which, well, when passed, is expected to, like I said earlier, give women, married women, the right to assume the indigenship of the marital state. So we are trying to see, and I think the speaker has directed the technicians to ensure that the electronic board is actually amended, and then ensure that, well, before this time, all the votes that had passed, none of the votes experienced this technical hitch. And I believe maybe this could be one of those, if like you call it, technical issues that arise sometimes. So but we believe that this will be resolved. And remember, so far, the House has considered 23 bills. And it's the 23rd bill that this issue, you know, ensued. And I think the technicians are looking up to it to ensure that this is corrected. And at the moment, the women have gone back to their seats. as well as their male sympathizers. Well, who said that men most times are not could not support their female counterpart? But the display here today is quite encouraging, if you ask me. Well, the next bill to be considered after this one is a bill that seeks to amend the procedure for overriding presidential veto in constitutional alteration. That is whereby the president withholds his veto or refuses to sign to a bill, an amendment bill. Now this alteration bill seeks to provide a procedure through which that could be checked. But then the legislators in the House of Nigerian people are still trying to correct and calm the nerves of the female legislators. And as a matter of fact, the House is yet to consider the affirmative action for women, which the Senate...
Very restive. Go and take your seat. Honorable Kazaure. Honorable colleagues, because there was slight confusion, two figures were displayed. One was 274, the other one was 216. Now we will not rig anything, and if we're going to rig anything, it is going to be in the favor of our mothers. So because we don't want to rig the vote, we will retake that vote again. Because the members who voted are seated here, and it will take us just 2 minutes. Go and sit down, please. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Honorable Ogene.
So,
Ogene, please, can you take your seat?
We will take attendance now and vote on that issue again. Please, 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 so that our mothers will be satisfied that justice has been done. Please. So, please, let's take our seats. Please. Please. No, one night there was no two results. One night it was because we have two results. So even if we had ruled, once two results are displayed, we can reverse it. Yes. So we will take attendance now to vote on citizenship and indigenship.
Register. Time is up. Register.
We are not set for attendance yet, please. No attendance, wipe everything. Wipe all the boards. Wipe them. If we are set, you now tell us. Are we set? Oh yeah, let's go. Oh yeah, register now. Register now. On citizenship and indigenship. Register now. Bill number 23. Register now. Register now. Honorable colleagues, we need to register. If I will award any ruling here based on the previous one, I will give it in favor of the ayes. Because we saw 274, I saw with my eyes, I saw 216. So we need to take another vote. Otherwise, the ayes will have it. That's the truth. Because there was 274 and there was 216. So we have to take attendance now, please. Let's go. Register now. Register now. Register now. 7 seconds remaining. Register now. All of us, the green button.
My own is not working.
Okay. It appears some members are not registering because we have 157. There's no point of order, please. We had already taken no amendment, no point of order. We are voting. Wipe it, let's redo the attendance. If we don't get the number, I will call in favor of the highest figure I've seen, which was 274. But they are not registering.
Mr. Speaker, my own is not working.
Okay.
You have had complaints from
Huh?
over there. Go down, Billy.
Okay, honorable colleagues, hold on first, please. Hold on. Hold on. Honorable colleagues, please, just give us a few seconds, they will rectify the glitch. We have a technical problem which will be rectified.
Da kyau mana yes ne that is what let us do it.
Let's allow it. This is listening to your protest. Motion for adjournment.
The citizenship and indigenship. Actually, members, like I did say earlier, were not comfortable that the votes that were counted on this particular bill was not displayed on the electronic board. And then the speaker said, I think the best thing he could do is to recount the votes. But it's quite noteworthy to know that this is the first time today that a bill that has been counted is now agreed to be recounted. But there's some other bills that came up today, and then people who really have sympathy for some of those bills called for its recounts, but the House did not. Especially, for instance, the bill that seeks to provide for appointment of a minister from the FCT. That bill came and was rejected, but then Well, the Chairman House Committee on FCT tried to call on the presiding officer to recount that vote, but then eventually the House did not, and some other bills, but this bill in particular on women, the Speaker has agreed that a recount will be taken. But I think in order to ensure that the electronic board it's in working condition right now, I think that is what appears to be delaying the commencement of the voting. At this point in time, the Speaker would definitely take a new attendance and then put the votes. And then it's now believed that the latest results will be what we taken for this 23rd amendment of the 1999 Alteration Bill. But it will be recalled that the last election, the last votes, I beg your pardon, that was just taken, 216 members voted in favor of citizenship and indigenship for women, while 77 members declined, voted against it, while 2 members abstained. But women and some of their sympathizers in the Green Chamber raised an objection. And then there's nothing that the presiding officer could do than to call for a recount. And then at this point in time, not just a recount, they're now trying to recheck the electronic system to ensure that nothing has gone wrong ab initio.
We need to shut down the system and recalibrate.
Signal to them that we are removing the
Well, the action of the women is still reverberating in the House, but then the entire electronic system, it's now undergoing check to ensure there won't be any problem along the line as they proceed. Well, like we always know, well, the process of alteration of the Constitution is a very serious business. Well, the Nigerian people, the National Assembly, the executive and all the stakeholders must also be clear on the process that will guarantee inclusivity in the process of constitutional amendment. I intend to reconnect Nigerian people with the process, and that is actually what is playing out here today. It must be transparent. It must be accepted by all classes. And then it is clear that the provision of Section 8 and 9 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, related to the process of amending the Constitution, state that basically the whole members, 2/3 of the members of the National Assembly must decide before a constitution, any part of the constitution must be amended. And then without this kind of transparency, without this kind of inclusivity, definitely the aim of this Section 8 and 9 of the 1999 Constitution will be defeated. You see, the chamber is actually close to the completion of 360 members. But like I always say, this goes a long way to underscore the importance of this legislative function by the parliament. Parliament all over the world take constitutional amendment very serious. The first, well, it's noteworthy to know that the first amendment to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, well, then was not as separately clustered as it is today. But then the second alteration dealt with the issues of timelines in the electoral process only, while the third alteration established the National Industrial Court as a superior court of record in Nigeria. Well, this is in contrast with what obtained from the 1999 to successful amendment of the Constitution in 2010. And then, from the number of bills taken so far, there has been a progressive, smooth vote on the amendment bill. So far, 23 bills have passed through legislative fireworks. But for the 23rd bill, which basically is to empower or give women the power to assume the indigenship of the state of their husbands. Well, things appear to be calm in the Green Chamber, as all interests are trying to be accommodated, which is the basis for representation. At one of the cardinal functions of the Parliament, which is lawmaking, it's very necessary and important to know that what the legislators are doing here today, it's very, very significant in the national development of a liberal democracy like Nigeria. An amendment of constitution is not something that happens easily. And so when that process comes on the floor of Parliament, it's very important that all interests are accommodated to give the law the support and legitimacy it deserves from the people. Last Wednesday, the Senate concluded its process of voting on the amendment of the 1999 Constitution. Well, some of the bills that were rejected by the Senate were actually supported by the House today. For instance, the devolution of powers to state governments. The Senate voted against that amendment, but the House of Representatives actually voted in support of that. But it's very significant to know that in Constitution amendment, there must be strict adherence to Section 8 and 9 of the 1999 Constitution, where both chambers must concur on a particular alteration bill. Because the Senate had already rejected devolution of powers, and the House voted in favor of it automatically. At that point in time, when the Senate has rejected it, that bill stands automatically rejected by the National Assembly and stands dead at that point in time. But well, the House of Representatives today, before they started the consideration and voting of this constitutional alteration, especially that which has to do with devolution of powers. The presiding officer, Speaker Yakubu Dogara, did explain that the Senate had already rejected devolution of power in its consideration and votes, but the House of Representatives owed the Nigerian people information to show them, for them to see what is the stand of the House of Representatives to that particular alteration bill, and therefore they must go ahead to consider it and vote. But then it will be subsumed from the votes that members of the House of Representatives are basically in support of devolution of power, because majority of them voted in favor of it. But, well, like I did say, the constitutional provision is ultimate, which says for any part of the Constitution to be altered or amended, the two chambers, that is in the bicameral legislature like Nigeria, where you have the Senate and the House of Representatives, the two chambers must concur. The two chambers must pass the bill. If one chamber passes a part of a constitutional amendment and the other chamber refuses to pass it, that particular amendment stands dead automatically. Historically, it's wise to know that the process of this constitutional amendment has commenced at the beginning and inception of this assembly, when the Joint Committee of the Ad Hoc Committee on Amendment of 99th Constitution held series of retreats in various states. And today what they are discussing and considering is a harmonized version.
No, it will work. I believe it will work. Oh? It will work. It will work. Don't worry. Just sit down. It's not working. Please, honorable colleagues, let's try it and see. Are we set, Chief? Okay. Are we set? To insert the card now. Okay, please, let's insert our cards. Don't worry. It will resurrect. Our cards, insert it, please.
So it's not working.
Honorable Pategi, please insert it. Yes. Wait, it will go down. It will go out. Okay, honorable colleagues is working. Please check honorable Pategi's.
The light is on.
That the light is on.
No.
Wait. Honorable colleagues, Honorable Pategi, where are you going to? Okay, have we all inserted the cards? The cards. Honorable Abiodun inserted. Don't bother yourself. Honorable Onyema, why are you so excited? Okay, we have confirmed that it's only 3 members' seats that are not recognizing the cards. So we've asked them to move the 3 honorable colleagues to seats where the card will be read, please. So they have to bear with us. I think Honorable Pategi is one of them. Honorable Isas and Jamare, you are 1, 2. You will be moved to a seat. Who? Honorable Engineer Bala. No use walking, yours is walking. Chairman Rules and Business said his own is not working. Chairman Rules and Business, slot in the card, let's see.
So I have to change the system.
Is it working?
I had the same problem, that's why they moved me.
No, people from other room are working against you. People from other room are working against
you. So are we good to go? Honorable colleagues, if we are all seated, we can now take attendance and see where that takes us. Clear the result first. Okay. So let's register now, please. 6 seconds remaining.
Register.
Please wait. Not yet, please.
We have already registered.
Okay, register now. Register now. Register now. Register now. Honorable Nana, the mic behind you is on. I don't know why. Okay. Register now. Okay, we have 293. It appears we are back on track. So we will proceed now so that no one accuses the House of rigging any vote. So we'll take a vote on bill number 23. No, 293 is enough. 293 is enough. We are getting set. I will announce when we are ready to vote. Bill number 23 is citizenship and indigenship. Please, you are free to vote what you want, but don't corrupt others. Start. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Time out. Well, honorable colleagues, initially we thought we had even 216. You can see now it's gone down by almost 8 votes. So in any case, even if we had passed this, it's already dead in the Senate. But we wanted Nigerians to know where we stand on this issue. So the ayes could not gather 240 required to pass it, and so the nays have it. We move to Bill number 24, which is procedure for overriding presidential veto in constitutional alteration. That was the one I explained earlier on. So we take attendance. Bill number 24. Bill number 24 is a straightforward bill. So attendance, please register now. Register now. Register now. Honorable Isa Hassan Jamari, I'm not sure you have registered. Register now. 294. The explanation was to unify these two schools of thoughts we have in Nigeria. Those that claim that if the president does not sign constitutional alteration, even if it has secured through two-thirds of both the National Assembly and the state assemblies, that the constitutional alteration will not take effect. And those that believe that because two-thirds have already passed it in the National Assembly and the states, and in two-thirds, in the case that the president vetoes a particular bill, all that the National Assembly requires is two-thirds to overwrite it. That even if the president does not assent, since the alterations have passed two-thirds threshold, it should take effect. Yes. So this is the opportunity we have to clear this school of thought once and for all. If it fails, it means that the two schools of thought will continue to exist in Nigeria. And that was why last assembly, we lost all the billions that were spent in the process of constitutional alteration because it wasn't appended to by the president. So we'll put the vote now. We should, are we there? Vote now.
Yes.
Vote now. Vote now.
Yes.
Vote now.
Yes.
Vote now.
Yes.
5 seconds. 3 seconds. 1 second. Time out. So, honorable colleagues, the result is 271 ayes, abstain 0, nays 20. So the ayes have it. So if this scales through, there's one school of thought now in Nigeria, no more two. Bill number 25, removal of certain acts from the Constitution. 25, removal of, I think that one will take them clause by clause. Cool. We'll take clause bill number 25 clause by clause. Right. No, the reason is that if some fail, some may scale through based on the wisdom of the House or wisdom of our members. So we don't want one bill to serve as the satanic verses that will drag the others down. So we'll take it clause by clause. The first alteration is alteration of section 315, which is altered by deleting, that is subsection 2. So we're talking about deleting subsection 2. Point of order on this one, not on the bill, on this subsection 2. No, on subsection 2. We are taking subsection 2. Is your point of order on subsection 2? No, subsection 2. Please.
Thank you. Sit down.
Subsection 2. We are deleting subsection 2. So, subsection 2 is what? What does it provide for? Bring the Constitution. (315). Subsection 2 of 315. I don't know why it's not written here. Who people use some?
Professor.
Okay. Subsection 2 talks about the appropriate authority may at any time by order make such modifications in the text of any existing law as the appropriate authority considers necessary or expedient to bring that law into conformity with the provisions of this Constitution. One.
Honorable Keita, please keep quiet.
I don't understand what this thing is saying. It's not clear. It's not clear. What are we amending now? You see?
Well, at the moment, the same bill which has to do with citizenship and indigenship for women, which the Speaker called for recount, well, unfortunately, the votes did not sail through as it was also rejected. And as it stands, both the Senate and the House of Representatives have rejected that part of the amendment, and then it starts rejected. And presently, the House is now beginning to consider number 5 bill in the compendium of the amendment, which seeks to remove certain acts from the Constitution. And one of these acts that this amendment seeks to remove is the one that seeks to remove the National Youth Service Corps from the Constitution. And then any moment from now, the members will commence voting on this particular amendment. But what this implies is not that the NYC will cease to operate, no, but they want to make it flexible for amendment, because once an item is in the Constitution which has passed through Act of Parliament, it's always very difficult to amend it. But the parliamentarians are now trying to remove it from the Constitution to make it easily amendable. So Nigerians are waiting to see if this part of constitutional alteration will scale through. Well, immediately after that bill on indigenship and citizenship that has to do with women's rights to assume the indigenship of the state of their husbands, another bill, well, was voted upon, and that is a bill that seeks to provide for the procedure for overriding presidential veto in constitutional alteration. Well, it's very significant to know that the fourth alteration of the Nigerian constitution basically did not receive presidential assent as a result of this part of the amendment. And then today, the House of Representatives have passed that bill, Well, as it stands, the people who voted for it stand at 271, while people who said no stand at 20. And then automatically, it garnered the 240 2/3 of the House members, and therefore, that bill stands passed. And so, because the Senate passed it, the House has passed it as well. It now has to go to the state assemblies for a 2/3 majority as well, and then transmitted to the president for his assent. And that is when it becomes part of the Nigerian law.
What before? That guy is collecting our signatures. But he didn't tell us. I want to meet someone. Come on, what do you discuss now? When they give us something to sign?
No, that the report is going to be led and considered.
But we didn't discuss that yesterday.
But they have
Honorable colleagues, please, let's go back to our seats. We have this paper. This was the version, the one that was submitted late. They call it Part B. So, is bill number 31 there? I think it's been separated into two, the entire 315. We have the Part 1, which deals with orders that are less controversial, and then Part B, which deals with the Land Use Act. So we will take them in that order, Part 1 and Part B. So the first part deals with all other laws like the NYC Act, which are all part of Constitution, and if you have to amend them, you have to amend the Constitution itself, otherwise you can't touch them. So I think the proposal is that we take them out. We are not deleting them, as a member here has suggested, as if we are killing, abrogating them. No. It's to take them out of the Constitution, leave them as any other act of Parliament, so that any time the Parliament wants to amend them, you don't have to go through the process of amending the Constitution to achieve that. So that's Part 1 that we're dealing with. So we have them separated into two. Part 2 is the Land Use Act. So we take the vote on Part 1. Then we'll move to the Land Use Act in Part 2. So attendance, start. Register now. Honorable colleagues, please. Time is gone. We have to make haste. Register now. Register now. Time is out. We have 295. So we vote.
Vote on what? Vote on what?
NYC and others. I've explained. Why are you not listening? The Part 2 is the Land Use Act. This one. Vote. Okay. Why did you press now? I've not asked you to do it. Clear it and then we'll take it again, please.
But item. I think the first one is NYS.
Exactly. Without even voting on.
Honorable colleagues, please let's listen. We talk about 315 separated into two. All other acts will come under Part 1, which we are voting for now. The second part is the Land Use Act, whether it should be taken out of the Constitution. The other one is the NYC Act, National Securities and COCOCO Act, which are made very difficult and cumbersome to amend because they are part of the Constitution. You can't touch them. But if they become Act of Parliament, We can amend any day, any time. So we are not deleting them as if we are abrogating them. Please, Honorable Gudaje, can you keep your quiet, please? Please. So we're taking a vote on part 1, then we'll move to part 2 to vote for the Land Use Act in part 2. So attendance now, please. All of us, the green button, press now. Attendance, please. Green button, press now. 10 seconds more. 7, 5, 4. Timeout. 294. Same thing. So we now vote. Vote now on 2B. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. 2 seconds. Time out. It's like we didn't get this one at all. Honorable, okay?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, please, my colleagues, I want to urge Mr. Speaker to reconsider our position because we jumped item number 26, and we jumped to 29. It's we couldn't understand. So I want to seek that we please follow the order that we have here on this chart.
No, I think the result is already out. We already have the result, but I have not declared it. But we need to announce, to explain these things to members. Please. I want you to listen. We should listen. We should listen so that we understand what we have done. Now, first of all, if you look at the provision of that section, it deals with what we call delegated legislation. And here in this committee, because of our concern on this issue, we set up a House Committee on Delegated Legislation for the very first time. Now, this is the section of the Constitution where the executive hides to make law on our behalf. So we wanted to take that out, so that if there's any law, whatever, that will be made, it has to be made by Parliament and not the executive. So the executive is hiding under this section of the Constitution to be making laws everywhere. If you go to NNPC, there are so many bylaws, you can't count them. So leaving this means that we have empowered them to continue to make those laws. So that's just the point. I think this one is institutional. In the interest of this institution, we will retake this vote. Please, I beg us. In the interest of the institution, we will take it. So wipe it. Let's continue. Any member will vote for that tonight. Honorable colleagues, we take attendance. Attendance, please. Green button. Attendance. 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 Honorable Ajayi. Attendance. Well, we have 262 recorded. It appears some members.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Of inclusive education, with a view to exploring policy options for its effective implementation in Nigeria. Your Excellency, no doubt achieving this will require radical changes to the education sector in the country, especially in view of the unsatisfactory education performance indicators. Over 10 million children are out of school, and more than 50% of in-school children have very poor foundational literacy competencies, while 84% of children in the lowest economic quartile cannot read at all. There is poor quality pre-service